Salute, General, Iro, Musa, Etiquette. I'm affectionately referred to as General Etiquette, and I've been thinking. Yo, shout out to one of my subscribers, Eleanor BB89. I want to make sure that I said that correct. Definitely submitted a question. Thank you for engaging, man. Thank you for sending in the questions. I'm seeing the questions. Please, if it's anything that y'all want me to unpack, anything that y'all want to flesh out together, please drop it in the comments, and I'm definitely going to try to get to all of them. But Eleanor, right, you asked me a question regarding growing up without a father present. Right now, I can relate coming from a single parent household, and you talked about the anger that you carried because of that void and that space in your heart. And you also talked about being a proud father. Salute and shout out to you, having custody of your children, doing your thing. But you talk about this space and trying to make amends. But every time you would try to make amends, it seems as though, right, your father would go back to prison and or self-sabotage the situation. So my thoughts on that. So I'm humbled that you think, first and foremost, I'm humbled that you even submitted a question to me. And I will humbly respond by saying, you have to forgive and let go, right? Because what you should have noticed at this point is that there's a cycle, and people are gonna be who they are. And while growth should know no cap, right? There's an old adage of you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So the first thing that you have to do is that you became the great father that you are by trying to embody everything that your father wasn't, right? And whilst it's made a model for you in order to engage the next generation for what I'm sure is lovingly and engagingly and all the things you have to do, but for you personally, right, the best thing that you can do is be willing to have the conversation. The best thing that you can do is be a space for when and if they're ever willing to do so. But you have to let go. You have to let go of the need for reconciliation, because that's another thing, right? To truly forgive, to truly forgive your father in this moment would be you being okay with things never ever coming into fruition the way you might imagine it could be. That's what true forgiveness will look like. You have to let go of an outcome, because if moving on for you is him being accountable for his actions and then moving differently as a result, that's more than understandable. And I get it. And I feel you. But the thing is, because you can't control another individual and you see the patterns of self-sabotage, what you have to do for you, for your growth, is that you have to forgive. You have to forgive them. You have to sit in that uncomfortable feeling and understand that people can't give you what they don't have to give. Oftentimes, we base our models of fatherhood on this Western notion of fatherhood. And while it is a definitely more proactive and engaging form of fatherhood, a lot of Black men have not experienced that. A lot of people come from households where they don't have that to give. And then I was made privy by a friend of mine that there's such a thing of having a father present and still being absent. And I'll never forget when my friend tried to articulate the pain, and I could feel the pain in his voice when he said, I'll never pretend to understand what it's like to come from a single parent household. But he said, do you know how troubling it is to have a father present, but him still be absent emotionally, intellectually, and not having a relationship with someone right there? So I've been able to look at the whole scope, right, of parenting from different angles, and I've been able to hear different stories, and I've heard very horrific ones, right? But as it pertains to yours, what I will say is the thing that was common, no matter how bad a parent was on the spectrum, the thing that was common and universal was, in order for that individual to move forward and grow, you have to forgive. You have to forgive and let go of the need and the expectation of an apology and accountability and even a relationship. Because the truth of the matter is that a relationship may not materialize. He may not ever get it together. And you have to be okay with that. And you have to be able to continue to love and pour into the next generation. So for you and your growth, what that looks like, in my humble opinion, you have to sit in the uncomfortability. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna be bothersome because you have to bring up all the real feelings that men are told to shove down. All of the, I don't need him. I learned how to shoot. I learned how to dribble a basketball. I learned how to tie a tie. I learned how to engage women. I learned all of that bravado that forces you to shove those feelings of hurt. You have to sit and admit you were hurt. It doesn't dishonor him to say, damn, he failed me and I'm hurting and it hurts to my core. And once you sit in that, but you go, you know what? What happened and he didn't have it to give to me, but my job is to be better. So it sounds like what was supposed to happen has already happened. The job of every parent is to make your child a better parent than you were. And unfortunately, it came in the form of you seeing everything you didn't want to be, but you're already being a better father for the next generation. So for now, for your growth and for your healing, you have to forgive him and go, you know what? If you knew better, you would have done better. You can't give what you don't have to give. You didn't know better. You didn't navigate that correctly, but you know what? I'm going to do better. And you know what? I forgive you. And you have to be okay and release that expectation of an apology. You have to release the need for reconciliation. You have to release the need to hear a certain thing, because sometimes it is what it is. Right? So definitely keep doing what you're doing, but you have to sit in that uncomfort, admit that it was hurt. Let's use the language of what it is. He hurt you. And then forgive him. And then you'll know when you really know that you forgive him is when you don't need any reconciliation. But in the event that he hit you randomly and was like, let's talk, let's rap, you'd be a space and you'd be open for that. Take them all out of the lens of parent, and we have to start looking at our parents as people. Who analyze the man that was your father. Analyze the man that is your father. And if he doesn't have to give to you, don't hold him accountable for it. But like I said, forgive, and you'll know when you really get there. I truly hope I was able to answer your question. I hope it was helpful. I love these questions. Man, y'all keep submitting your questions through comments. Anybody, if you want to chime in respectfully, because we build community through thought-provoking discourse. If you want to chime in respectively, if you have suggestions that can help, if you've been navigating a similar situation, if you're in the process, you know what we do here. We're facilitating the conversation. If no one said it, I'm proud of you. If no one said it today, I love you. You know how the law of attraction works. Whatever you put out there, you get 10 times over. Bless somebody, shout somebody out. It takes nothing away from one candle to light another. If you see me in the street, say what's up, but you probably won't because of the Rona. So I prefer you salute General Iroh Musa Etiquette.